Welcome back to the channel. I hope you enjoy.
I got a job at Eyes Unlimited. It put me in prison for the rest of my life. The police car turned on its sirens behind me. I looked down the dark forest road, seeing nobody. At 2 a.m. in this backwoods town, everyone had already gone to bed. Or was it even 2? My head felt fuzzy, and I couldn't remember how I had gotten there. I just remember driving down an endless black road, and before that, I rolled down the window. The police car stayed far behind me. I saw both police officers get out and crouch behind their open doors while they pointed black shotguns at my car. "Driver," the cop on the passenger side called. "Roll down your window and turn off your car. Do it now." I already had the key turned to the accessory position rather than in ignition mode. But I quickly rolled the driver's window down and plucked the keys out. My heart hammered in my chest and my mouth felt like sandpaper. I looked around worriedly, wondering what had caused all of this. I hadn't killed or robbed anyone that I could remember, yet they acted like they had just caught Ted Bundy himself in a VW Bug with a kit containing a ski mask, handcuffs, a fake cast, and a box of amyl nitrates. "Driver," the policeman droned. "Throw your keys out the window. Do it now." I threw the keys out the window. "Driver, open the door and put your hands out of the car. Get out slowly. Do it now." Very slowly, I moved out of the car with my hands up. "Now, driver, keep your hands in the air. Do not make any sudden moves. Do not turn around. Do not move your hands anywhere near your body. I want you to walk backwards toward the sound of my voice. Do it now." I walked backwards down the dark side of the road, nearly tripping on stones and branches. I was terrified that if I fell, I would be filled with more lead than flint. Michigan's water supply. At that point, I had so many guns pointed at me that I felt like John Dillinger leaving a movie theater. Not to make light of the situation, at the time I seriously thought I was going to die. "Get on your knees and keep your hands in the air. Do it now." I slowly got to the ground, kneeling. A few moments later, I felt my arms wrenched behind my back, painfully pulling at my shoulder. I swore in pain. "Watch out, that fucking hurts," I cried. One of the cops roughly dragged me up to cuffed wrists, spinning me around to face him. He leaned close to me, whispering in my ear. I could smell the stale coffee on his breath. "You fucking sicko. You are a real piece of garbage, you know that? What you did makes me want to throw up. The guys in prison hate people like you, and I'll be glad to hear that you're dead too, soon enough. You remember what happened to Jeffrey Dahmer?" He pushed me hard against the hood of the police car. Then they brought me down to the station. On the way there, I thought back on how I got here, only catching glimpses of the truth. I waited in the small concrete room looking at the whitewashed brick walls, wondering what came next. A minute later, 2 detectives walked into the room. The man in the lead looked like a human walrus. He had small, watery eyes, a large, bristling mustache over his thin lips, and a massive barrel chest with a gut that pushed against the buttons of his police shirt. The buttons looked like they would fly off at any moment from the tension, yet miraculously, they stayed put. "Hey, Gabriel," the large man said, pulling a chair out from the table and sitting down with a heaving sigh. "My name is Detective Carmichael. This is Detective Minervini." He gestured to the other police officer sitting next to him, a thin, serious man with dark Italian features. "And we're here to listen. That's all we're doing. We just want to hear what you have to say. I nodded. After they read my Miranda rights, they spent the next few minutes asking me basic information, like my address, my phone number, when I moved to my current location, how many cars I had, where I worked, and so on. I'm not a stupid man. I know how such things work. The detectives try to get a baseline reading on someone by asking them various trivial details about their lives before jumping into the crime. They notice their body language, expressions, tone, and speech patterns while telling the truth. Sometimes they would bring in a lie detector test, but what they don't tell subjects is that lie detector tests are inadmissible in court and scientifically useless. There has never been any evidence showing a polygraph can reliably determine truth from lies. Countless psychopaths have passed the polygraph and proved their innocence, including the Green River Killer. But this is irrelevant, because the real purpose of the polygraph is to allow detectives to watch the subject's body language during questioning and compare it to their baseline response. Some people get so freaked out by the idea of a polygraph that they begin mixing up stories and sweating, not realizing that their own body language betrays them more than random electrical impulses on a chart. In a sense, the polygraph is more psychological warfare than the machine. A way to fake people out before pressuring them into confessions. Gabriel? Detective Minerby asked. You still with us? I looked up suddenly, realizing I'd gotten lost in my thoughts and stopped listening to the conversation. Sorry, what? I said. Where were you today? Give us a timeline of events from the moment you woke up, he said. Today, I said contemplatively, realizing back on the worst day of my life. I woke up, groggy from not getting enough sleep. I had worked late into the previous night on a novel I was hoping to publish, vaping constantly and chugging cup after cup of coffee. Eventually, around 3 a.m., I gave up on editing and decided to go to bed. I looked at the clock, noticing it was only 8 a.m. I got up, showering and making breakfast, trying to figure out what to do for the day. I had lost my job a couple months earlier, and things had started getting desperate. I had maybe $500 in my bank account, which was all the money I had in the world to pay the rent, buy food and gas, and cover all my bills. I knew I was screwed. Over the last few weeks, I had put in hundreds of job applications. A lot of them were crap, minimum wage or temp jobs that I would only take as the last resort. My phone started ringing, and I looked down at the screen, seeing an unfamiliar number. A surge of hope ran through me. Hello? I said, static and chaos carried through the line. I pulled the phone away from my ear. After a couple of seconds, a voice started coming through. Mr. Guardiani? A female voice said. This is him, I said. Who's calling? Yes, hi, my name is Becky Meyer. I'm the head of human relations for Eyes Unlimited. We do surveillance and cameras and security, among other things. I was calling about a potential opening in our company. I don't remember ever applying to any company by that name, I said, confused. How did you get this number? Oh, you were referred to us, she said cryptically. Or actually, maybe we found you online. Perhaps you put your resume on a job posting website? Anyways, would you be able to come in for an interview sometime today? I asked about pay and benefits, and when she told me the job paid $25 an hour, I said I'd come down immediately. She gave me the address. I wrote it down on my phone and got changed into some nicer clothes before heading out. I drove toward the capital, about 15 minutes away. My GPS started taking me into rougher and rougher neighborhoods. Used needles littered the streets, and drug dealers in hoodies stood at every corner, watching cars that passed with hawk's eyes. You have arrived, the female robotic voice said as I finally pulled into an abandoned last one filled with empty factory and apartment buildings. I looked around nervously. That's the end of part 1.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to one of my videos. I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.